Basically, what's going to happen with mortgages is currently, if you get a mortgage with the bank, like let's say you found a new house for $500,000, and you go to the bank and you say, "Hey, bank, I got about $50,000 here that want to put down towards this house. Can you give me the other 450,000 and I can buy this house?" So you end up with the house there, or a part of the house. The bank is pretty much the owner of that house at the time. Like even the house that I'm in right now, the bank probably has the more ownership than I have in this house, which is crazy, but that's the way it is. So with the traditional mortgage, basically your only asset, the only thing that you're using for your collateral in a mortgage is the house, right? And I think that over this next decade, we're going to see a lot of changes within the real estate market. And I think that the price of houses are actually going to start flatlining, maybe even going down. Because there's going to be a lot of houses out there that aren't actually being used right now that people are going to convert into other assets like Bitcoin. So I do think that the market's actually going to start going down. And so therefore the equity that people have in their house, the asset that they're backing their mortgage with, is going to start falling in value. It might fall, it might flatline, it might go up a little bit, but we're not going to see what we saw in the last 20 years in the real estate industry. We're just not. And so instead of just having the house as your collateral on that mortgage, they're actually going to add Bitcoin to that. So you're going to have the mortgage that you owe somebody else, you're going to have the house as an asset, and you're also going to have Bitcoin on the mortgage where you hold a key to it and the bank holds a key to it. Or maybe the bank holds the whole balance in escrow. But the nice thing about that is, and why the banks are going to actually push for this, is because we're going to see a lot of people losing their jobs over the next decade. There's going to be a lot of people who have debts that they're unable to pay. They're going to have mortgages that they're unable to pay because they lost their job. So they have this big fancy house that they were paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per year on because they had a steady income. They were an accountant or a lawyer or a dentist or whatever. And all of a sudden that changes. And maybe they lost their job. Maybe they got replaced by a robot. And some industries won't be as affected of this, but there is going to be a lot of people who are affected by this. And so people are going to stop making their mortgage payments. So from the bank's perspective, that's a big problem. But when you have Bitcoin sitting on that mortgage, an asset that's appreciating over time, that's going to give the ability to actually strengthen your collateral, strengthen the assets that you have backing that mortgage. Plus, if you ever miss a mortgage payment, the bank's just going to be able to say, "Sorry, Jor, but we got to sell some of your Bitcoin to cover your mortgage payment this month. Hopefully you can get it next month, but in the meantime, we're going to have to sell some of your Bitcoin to pay your mortgage payment." And how easy is that for a bank, right? Compare that to a traditional asset that would be held on a loan. Like you can't sell a window from a house. If you miss a mortgage payment, the bank's not going to come take a window from your house and make your mortgage payment for you. But if you have Bitcoin backing that mortgage, then they can just sell some. You miss a payment, have to sell some sats. So even though your sat balance might go down over time, if you miss a couple mortgage payments, the value of your assets are actually going to go up over time. So the balance might go down. It might stay the same, but it's going to become more, it's going to appreciate in value in real terms, not just fiat terms. So that's from the bank's perspective. That's why they're going to want to have Bitcoin on every mortgage. I do see that in the future where you're not going to be able to buy a house unless you actually have Bitcoin as part of that. So you might actually have to buy more and buy some Bitcoin from the bank that you could put on your mortgage. Or if you're here today, you can just say, here's some Bitcoin. You don't need to check my credit score. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to go through a whole scan of my net worth. Here's some Bitcoin. Give me a mortgage. So that's the nice thing for Bitcoiners is like credit scores for Bitcoiners are going away for everything, for lines of credit, for mortgages, for everything. It's all going away. You're not going to need a credit score anymore if you have Bitcoin, which is pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool.